What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Respectfully. I'm your host, Cam Farmer, and today I have a very special guest with me today. He is a point guard for the University of Georgia men's basketball team. That is none other than Mr. Silas Demary Jr. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you for real. Been watching you I got exposed to you last year and seeing the impact you had on your team. You were third in scoring and I believe third in rebounds. So you had you had a very huge impact on the team last year. But yeah, just to kind of get right into this, man. Yeah, just kind of talk about a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got to UGA, and if you want, you could just talk about how you developed your love for hoops.
From Raleigh, North Carolina, born and raised there. Got a twin sister and an older sister, but parents from South Carolina and Virginia. I mean, I've kind of basketball for me wasn't really my first love. It was more so football. I grew up. My dad was a professional football player, so like football in our household was a big thing. But as a kid, my parents put me in like multiple different sports. But I would say as I got to like middle school, almost towards high school, I started leaning between football and basketball. And it was always like I wanted to play Division One in either sport. I wanted for the longest to play, go to the same school, go to the school and play both sports. But really, we all know that's kind of rare. Like not too many people do that. So I would say probably my sophomore years when I made the decision to stick with basketball. Just the way I was growing as a kid, and like I just started loving basketball more. Like football was always my first love, but I felt like I was falling in love more with basketball, and I was like, maybe this is what I really want to focus on. But I would say my love for the game of basketball just came from just watching it as a kid and always just talking to my parents, watching those NBA games, or even going to the like we had the John Wall Christmas tournament back in Raleigh, just going there all the time, seeing all those top players come through. I mean, that's kind of where my love was built. Obviously, just over time, you going and seeing those different things, and then as a kid, you playing AAU, you traveling, you're like, man, maybe this is a sport I really love. So really, that's all it was for me. Basketball. I mean, basketball and football was my main too, but basketball was the one that came for me.
So you coming from North Carolina, what or who were your favorite players growing up? I know when we ask players that it's typically from the professional, the
hmm
NBA standpoint, but outside of the NBA, and you can answer that question as well. Were there any specific college players that when you were growing up that you kind of wanted to you wanted to play like, so to speak?
I would say rather than playing like I kind of looked up to, I would say it was probably Kobe White, just because he's from a small city called Wilson, North Carolina. It's like 40 minutes from Raleigh, and I remember the first time I seen him play was like the Christmas tournament, and I think it was at the time he was going. He was committed to North Carolina, and like that was one of my dream schools as a kid because like it's in the backyard where I live. But definitely Kobe White, just the like his intensity and just the way he plays the game. Like he plays the game the right way. He's a competitor. He's a winner. He's one of those guys. Like all throughout his high school career, I was just watching what he was doing and the things he did because he was successful. He went to a lot of those top camps. He had a lot of those top offers, and then ended up going to Carolina. Then he went to Carolina and did his thing. So he was also always one of those guys, just being from North Carolina, that I looked up to.
Yeah, no, I remember when Kobe White was a part of that Carolina team along with Cam Johnson. And I remember when he got drafted to Chicago, he was like, "What? Cam got drafted?" Like I remember that, and I could just tell the sincerity and the brotherhood that was present in North Carolina. Um, so speaking of like I said, you being from North Carolina, did you ever receive an offer from North Carolina?
Nah, I never did, but I had a scholarship offer to NC State, and I had talked to Duke for a little bit, but I had never really heard from North Carolina though.
Oh wow. Okay, so NC State. I'm willing to bet that you saw their NCAA tournament run a few months ago during March Madness. What did you think of that run? Seeing as though that you had spoken to them and they had interest in you. Yeah, like, and just and then we'll get into
Hmm.
to the other stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, what was your impression of NC State?
I mean, for me, I was kind of like just proud for him because I mean, Coach Keats is a good guy. Even on my visit, like just talking to him over the phone, like he was always a great person. The staff was great. I just felt like it was a better situation. I mean, I've been in Raleigh all my life, so it's kind of like as a kid, you get older, you want to go experience a new town, a new state. Like you just want to get out of where you always been. But I
Right.
mean, I was happy to see them do that. They got hot late. They got hot at the right time. And I mean, I was happy for them because obviously I'm from there, and just to see a team from where I'm from is doing good. Because look at the time since I think I want to say since I've lived in Raleigh, like they've always been up and down. Like the in and out of the tournament won't make the tournament, but for them to do that this past year, just and looking at the roster they had, like nobody believed they could do it, and they was able to get hot and make it to the Final Four. I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do in basketball. Even making it to the tournament is one of the hardest things. So, I mean, for them, I feel like it was a good stepping stone for them, and I mean, it'll help their recruitment too.
Yeah, no, I agree. So my last question, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is so that the audience can get to know you, outside of the basketball player, outside of the athlete, just get to know Silas. Um, you being from Raleigh, and obviously we have the Charlotte Hornets in the NBA. What are and obviously, well, let me backtrack. I'm gonna ask you that question next. You said that you were a multi athlete. So you played football and you
Mm-hmm.
were, in basketball. Now that you are a point guard, did you play quarterback when you played football? Or because I ain't gonna lie, you give receiver though, right? Receiver cornerback.
Nah, for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah, nah. I played quarterback, but like, and literally, all the way up, I was like up in the high school. I was playing quarterback, receiver, and corner. So I mean, I played like all the skill positions, but I started off at quarterback. Well, I really started off at receiver. Then when I got to high school, they was like, let's try to put you at quarterback and see, because they was like, you think the game well. So most of the
Yeah.
time they say point guards are the quarterback.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that's why I asked, because I know the quarterbacks are the game managers. They are the
Mhm.
facilitators of their team, and with point guards, they're literally no different.
Yep.
Obviously they have the responsibility of seeing plays form before anybody else sees them.
Hmm.
So yeah. So with Charlotte, and I was gonna ask you this question at the end of the interview. But since we're on North Carolina right now, should you, because I don't know what your plans are after this season, should you decide to go to the pros, go to the NBA, would Charlotte be on your radar? I mean, you're playing, it's your hometown, you're playing, or
Yeah.
not your hometown, but Charlotte is
Yeah.
close to Raleigh,
Yeah.
but playing in your home state with the possibility of playing alongside LaMelo Ball, with the possibility of playing alongside Miles Bridges, and you see the additions that they added from the draft. So would you be open to playing in your home state for the fans?
I definitely would. It's nothing like being at the highest level and you're in the state where you're from, just to be able to say I play for the Charlotte Hornets and I'm from Raleigh, it's 2 hours away. I would have family at every home game. Like a lot of
Yeah,
people, I think we even we had a game against Wake Forest and Winston in the NIT. And I had like 60 people there. So
yeah.
like imagine that on a higher level. Like I think that would be like a dream come true.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, I like I said, just watching the draft, seeing the sincerity of you all as the athletes, and seeing, your brothers that you go to war with
Mhm.
every night, achieve their dreams of playing at the highest level, alongside of being with their family. Like, I mean, it don't get much better than that at all. So yeah, man. So I kind of want to shift gears. A lot of people don't know the origins of how you got to Athens. Um, and like I said at the beginning of the show, you played a very big role as a freshman.
Mhm.
For Coach Wyatt, you played a very big role, and obviously the team looks a little bit different now, but we'll get into that later. But you were supposed to play at USC.
Yep.
Um, kind of go down, briefly. You don't have to give the whole story.
Yeah.
But But what happened? What happened with that?
Yeah, so I would say I think I got the offer to USC before my senior year of high school. So I want to say like July was like the last live period.
Yeah.
They ended up offering me. So to me, that was very intriguing because it's like it's the West Coast. My dad used to live out there. He played football over there. So it's like obviously I had thoughts about it, like going to visit and seeing campus. Like it's the East Coast versus the West Coast. You hear that a lot nowadays. So it's like they say West Coast hoops better than East Coast. So like it's obviously for me, I wanted to go and see what it was like. Started talking to him a lot. I think I went on a visit either late August, early September. Enjoyed it, man. It was like one of the greatest experiences I had, and it felt like home. The coaches felt like it just felt like family. It was a great environment. Like even go to the first football game. And I think that's when Caleb Williams was there. It was like it was crazy. It was like such a great experience. It was surreal for me because it's like I saw a whole different part of the world. So it was like going across the world, seeing that was like, wow, I think I can come out here and make my name, become something. So then I would say going in this, I think I wanted to narrow my schools down. I think I narrowed it down to like 5 or 6 schools. Ended up taking visits. I think I wanted to end up committing before my senior season because playing through high school is very hard. It's very rare you see many kids can be able to juggle recruitment and playing through all these games. It's like it's a lot. It's a lot on a 17-year-old kid to be able to do that. It's like you feel like you got a lot of pressure on yourself every game. So for me, I was like, just to take the pressure off my shoulders and just to enjoy myself and get these high school goals that I had written for my senior year. I was like, just want to go ahead and know what school I wanted to go to. I think I ended up coming in like October, and I was happy. I was happy. I feel like it was a great decision. The coaches were still talking to me every day. I think I ended up going on a visit again in January just to go back out there because it's like if I'm going there, I want to see. I wanted to go to a game, so I ended up going to a game. I think they played UCLA and ended up winning.
Right.
For me, it was like it was a switch in the way that I felt the coaches were acting towards me and my family. Like they were still talking to me, but it didn't feel like how it was before. So then I think going into February, March, I started hearing rumors on Twitter, on like the message boards, everything that Boogie Ellis was coming back. And I mean, he's a great player. Like
Yeah.
I have nothing against him. Like they had Boogie going there, and that's when they said Isaiah had committed there. Me and him had already talked about playing together. Like we had a whole plan and everything. Like talking to the coach and everything, we had a plan and everything.
Right.
So then I want to say in March, I started to feel like maybe this isn't the best situation for me. It doesn't feel like how I felt before. So I ended up asking for my release. And then I think when that happened, everybody started assuming that it was because of Bronny, but it's like I kind of knew he was going there. I didn't really have a problem because I've played against Bronny before, and I feel like our games can mesh together because I mean he's a guard that plays defense and likes to shoot off the catch. So I was like, that's not a problem. We like not crossing each other. We'll be able to play off of each other. But then when Boogie was coming back, they finally announced that he was coming back. It was like it's just no room for me to go there. Like you have a senior coming back, played 30 minutes last year. You have the number one player in the country coming. You know he's going to play. Then Bronny there. You know he has to play. So it's like, for me, I feel like I put in enough work. I put in a lot of work to get to this point. And it's like, I don't want to sit and have to play second fiddle. And it's like, as a kid and as my parents, it's like going into college, these are kind of some of the biggest years of your life. It's like the make or break point of your life. Like you can go left or right. It's about which way you want to go. And I feel like for me, it was just time for me to get away from that situation, ask for my release, and just try to find the best situation for me in such a short amount of time. Because most of the time, kids are moving in May, June. So I ended up asking for my release in like April. So now I'm worried. I'm like, I don't know what school's going to reach out. I don't know who's going to want to take a chance. It's so late. But then, like, as soon as I did that, a lot of schools called me, and I was like, I kind of just sat back and like just thank God because I really could have been in a situation where I could have had to go to JUCO because nobody else could have wanted to take me because it's so late. I was just thankful that schools reached out and schools were still interested, and I think Georgia was definitely one of the schools that reached out and came to my house because I think I was doing visits like nobody knew. I wasn't putting it on social media, nothing. Like I kept everything in house. They were
Right.
one of the first few schools to reach out. They hopped on a plane. I want to say 2 days later, came and saw my family and I. They had a plan and everything for me. It was like it kind of wowed me because it's like the first time they were recruiting me, but then they fell off. But this time it felt way different. It felt like they wanted me to be a part of their program, and it felt like they wanted my family to be a part. And it was just such a family environment. And then I came on my visit, enjoyed my visit, enjoyed being around the coaches and the players. It was like maybe it just felt like the right situation for me. And obviously, looking back from this past year, it was obviously the right situation, the right choice.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Because like I said, like you put up great numbers, for you as a freshman, for you to be a top 3 scorer on your team, for you to be a top 3 rebounder on your team. Like you're 6'5", like, and you're a
Yeah.
freshman. You know what I'm saying? So that's wonderful, man. So um when the coaches came to your house, obviously Coach White came. How did Coach White, or if any other coaches spoke, how did they persuade you? How did they let you know that they were really interested in having you be a part of their program? Like, what did they say? Like, how did they make it known that you are valued? Like, we see value in you. You're one of the top players in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did they appeal that to you and your family?
I would say when they came in, I want to say I took a test, like a mental test is like to see where your mind is with like how you are off the court, on the court, like how you can change. And I think my test scores kind of like matched Coach White. It was like off the court, great guy, subtle, calm, but on the court, like he has a switch, like he becomes a competitor, doesn't want to lose, nothing like that. So when like my scores aligned up just like his, I was like, that can't be an accident. Like that means something. That means we resemble each other. That means we have some of the same qualities.
Right.
And they showed me their style of play, and it was kind of like how I've always wanted to play. Get out and run, play in transition, a lot of ball screens, and then it was just the fact that a lot of the things they were saying, it was like, we need you. It's you're a need for us. So anytime you feel like a coach is in need and not just they just want to have and you need you, it's like you would want to go there because Coach White, everything he said to me since he's first talked to me has been truthful. Like he's told me nothing but truth ever since. And for me, I think loyalty and always being honest is one of my biggest qualities. And the fact that he's never once changed on his word, it just felt like it was right for me.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. So when I read in the story, and the reason why I'm asking you this is because you're the source. Like, I'm going straight to the source. I'm not finna, make no assumptions off of what I've read. When your dad spoke to, I guess, a reporter or something like that, and he said basically that you were supposed to be playing 20 to 25 minutes a night before Boogie said he was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And then that changed to eight, 8 to 10 minutes
Yeah.
a night. When you were being recruited, what was the ideal, so to speak? Like, what was the amount of playing time that you wanted to play every night, regardless of who was knocking on your door?
Yeah, it was definitely anywhere between 20 and 25 because it's like you're making an impact if you're on the court that long. So it's
Right.
like anywhere I went, I wanted to earn the minutes, and I felt like I would definitely have earned the minutes just because I'm an everyday guy and I compete. I feel like if it's an open situation between where it's a position battle, I feel like I can win out because I fall back on my work and I trust in my work and I trust in God to help me be in the right situation. So any school I wanted to be able to play as a freshman because I feel like I put in a lot of work and I just feel like the way I impact the game, I make a lot of winning plays. So I feel like I want to be on the court. So just going to a program that was I could get those minutes and I'm impacting the game, helping win was an ideal situation for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. So of course, I mentioned your dad and your mom. Before the show, I told you, like, hey, I really would love to talk more about your parents because they were really pivotal in bringing in helping you, come to Athens, so to speak. How important, and I know this probably will sound like a cliche question, but I not everybody, not every college athlete has a support system like
Mhm.
you do.
Yeah,
How important were your parents in helping you to cope with what transpired at USC,
yeah,
knowing that you were promised a certain amount of minutes a game, and then a few coaches having to go back on their word, and that not being fair to you because you were already promised
yeah,
the fact that you were going to be playing a certain amount of minutes. And to preface this, nothing against, like you said, nothing against Boogie Ellis
yeah. Nothing.
whatsoever.
Nobody.
Yeah, phenomenal player,
Hmm.
great point guard, phenomenal.
Yeah,
But how pivotal, how important were they in the aftermath of you being told one thing and then having or being led to believe one thing when it was the complete opposite?
yeah. I mean, my parents, I lean on them a lot because they've been on this earth longer than me, and just to be able to pick their brains and them be able to pick me up, knowing that obviously I'm down about the school I chose to go to. Like, I fell in love with the school, wanted to go there, had dreams, aspirations, just having goals to with that team, things you want to do with that team. As a freshman, going into college, you have ideas about going to the tournament, winning games, winning your conference. So it's like you dream and think about that for forever and ever, and then it's like it's cut off. It's kind of like you lose trust. It's kind of hard to trust somebody then because you don't know if they're telling you the truth or not. Because now it's like they had to go back on their word. Now it's like as a kid, I'm 17-year-old. Like, dang, who really believes in me now? So it's like now I got to restart and rekindle everything and kind of just take it slow and really listen to what these coaches are saying because you don't want to fall in a trap where you don't want that situation to happen again. Especially looking at your parents, they don't want that to happen to their son again. So they were always with me. Go out to lunch, just sit down. Like they really just let me be a kid for a couple of days and kind of try to forget about it and just move on. So my parents were definitely a big part in that. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, man, I kind of want to, and I'm glad, you kind of went through all of that because everybody can say one thing and then they take it and run with this. So going
mhm.
straight to the source, man. I mean, I appreciate you for really kind of opening up about that. Um, Now I kind of want to change gears to now you being in Athens, you being a part of the program. Um, like I said a number of times throughout the show, you were a very big part of the team last year. You are a very big part of the team now. Obviously, with the departures of Noah, the departures of Jabri, you and Blue are kind of going to be taking on a leadership role, particularly when it comes to putting the ball into the basket. But y'all have very new faces. You got Dakota LaFew, Santo Surreal. You got Deshane Montgomery. You also have a top prospect in the nation in Asa Newell. Like
Mhm.
everybody was harping on the transfers that Alabama received, and rightfully so, and a lot of SEC competition that they had. But not a lot of people. Asa, you getting Asa, like that was an underrated pickup for
It
real.
was.
Kind of talk about that, like how you felt when you found out that you were getting Dakota, Deshane, and Asa, and also Santo, like that they're being added, they're being plugged in to fit around you and Blue, but
Yeah.
also at the same time, like you're here to make their lives easier as well, just as much
Yeah,
as they're here to
definitely.
make your life easier.
Yeah. No, I would say definitely like when I finally know like let everybody know I was coming back, a lot of those guys I started getting in contact with. Like I think I talked to Dakota a little bit. I talked to Tyron a little bit. Then I think I hosted Samto. Like we already knew Asa was coming. Like Asa came on a couple different visits during the year, so I already knew he was coming. Knew that he was gonna make things easier because he's a pop threat and he can get it off the dribble. But adding Samto, Tyron, Deshane, and Dakota is like all those guys make everybody think easier. Like I can draw two. I know I hit Dakota, Tyron, or Deshane. They're gonna hit that open three. Like, and then I know they can come on the ball. I can go off the ball. They can create for others just as well. And then you look at Samto. I mean, he's a freak athlete. He's 6'10", jumps out the gym, blocks shots. So it's like everybody we brought in, I feel like can play off of each other, and I feel like the way we're meshing right now as a team before we head into like our first week of practice, I just feel like we're at the right place.
Yeah, I agree, man. So obviously, being I feel like one of the games that, and as I'm listening to you talk, I'm literally smiling because I'm like, yo, I'm kind of excited for y'all as well. And the reason why I'm trying not to be biased, but I've been watching y'all for so long, it's just kind of like, well, I ain't gonna go to hell, I ain't gonna go to jail. I'm cool, you know what I'm saying? But one of those games, and I kind of want to, and I forgot that I wanted to talk about this as well. But your game against Alabama last year, Alabama and Tennessee were the top two teams in the conference last year.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had Alabama on the ropes. I think y'all were up 58-71 last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was on the phone with my pops. I was like, yo, like, I think they're gonna really be Alabama for real. Like, and that's not to say that y'all couldn't, but
Right.
Alabama has been a very
Mm-hmm.
formidable threat
Yeah.
to you all. You know what I mean?
Facts. Mm-hmm.
And obviously led by Mark Spears and those guys. They got Darion Reed, who I thought was coming to UGA. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah.
What happened? I have to ask. What happened? You don't got to name no names. I ain't in the business of all that. But what happened? Y'all had a 58-71 lead. It was 71-58. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah, Silas going crazy. Like Blue, he going off. Because Blue was coming off the bench that game. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And then Jabri was hitting his shots, and then y'all had RJ as well. So I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this probably gonna be on a headline for ESPN or some
Facts.
stuff like that. So kind of like what where did it change, so to speak?
I think I want to say probably like the 8 minute mark, probably around that time. Like we were feeling the crowd. I think we had some costly turnovers like down the stretch where they converted. Alabama shoots a lot of threes,
Mm-hmm.
so I think like they converted on a lot of our turnovers. So like we kind of hurt ourselves. Like we turned the ball. I think we turned the ball over a little too much down that stretch, and then like they got back in the game. And our game plan was pretty much like we're going to double Mark Sears, and like we're gonna live with Grant Nelson shooting a three. It's not that he can't shoot, but it's like we have to give up something. Taking
Right.
away everything, but we have to give up something. And he just ended up hitting two big time threes down the stretch. Like if we turn the TV on and he doesn't hit those two threes, we win the game, no matter about the turnovers or not. So I mean, at some point, like obviously you don't want to turn the ball over, but things like that happen, mistakes happen, and we just got to live with. I mean, he hit back to back threes. We got to live with that. Like that, our game plan was, if anybody on the court is going to shoot a three, we'd rather it be him, and he just ended up hitting those shots. So sometimes you got to live with that. I mean, it's not that it's on anybody. We kind of hurt ourselves. It's kind of a team thing, like, but you gotta give something up on the defensive end, and he just ended up converting. So you gotta live with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you see that all the time. And, players playing at the highest level, like opportunity cost. In order to receive something, you got to get something.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, in order to receive something, you have to give up something. So yeah, man. No, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't at the game, but I was doing homework. This was in December, I believe. So it
Mm-hmm.
was right around finals. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and just turn on the TV, see what they doing. Next thing
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking at halftime. It's 51. It's 58, or I'm sorry, 71-58, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. So yeah, and I think honestly that game really, I think y'all could have beaten anybody in the SEC, right? Obviously South Carolina had their, they had their moments with Michi, and then you had Dalton Connect in Tennessee. So you had those guys, but I feel like y'all really could have competed with anybody, and then you all went on that run in the
Yep.
NIT tournament. So that was just, in my opinion, I think y'all gave fans a glimpse as to how great y'all actually are. It's just
Yep.
certain pieces have to be put in the proper place,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no. So I'm not gonna hold you. You give Anthony Edwards vibes. I'm not gonna lie. Like, hear me out. Hear me out. Like, I was watching. Um, I was watching. It was on the basketball Instagram, on y'all's basketball Instagram, and y'all were at camp, and y'all were at like a retreat, and you were like, you was lining, and you talking about how like you played football, and so you was lining up, and you were like to Kirby, tell Kirby, tell Kirby to come rock with me. I was like, that
Yeah.
is Ant, bro. Ain't no way. Like, and it's not like it was the mannerisms, because Ant is also extremely confident in the fact that he can compete in other sports. And you
Yeah.
know, he probably can. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that probably can.
Like, and I was just like, dang. And I'm like, the way he's lining up, it's like he looked like Silas looked like he played football for real. Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, and that's why I asked you, in the beginning, like,
Yeah.
did you play any other sports, outside of basketball? And then you talked about you was a quarterback, you
Yeah.
played receiver, and then how they wanted to change you to quarterback. So I was like, there it is. But if Coach Smart, if it came down to it, if it came down to it, would you have competed? Like, if the stars were aligned, if God made it a certain way where you were able to compete in both football and basketball, because some D1 athletes do that. They
Yeah.
do.
Hmm.
So if it came down to it, if the opportunity presented itself, would you have competed in
Yeah.
basketball and
Definitely would.
really?
Here, like the way they win here, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I definitely would.
Tight. Yeah.
Definitely would.
No, that's crazy. Because the reason, like I said, the reason why I say that is there's not a lot of athletes that
Yeah.
can really do that. And being in the SEC, and you being an SEC athlete,
Hmm.
it's NBA
Yeah.
light,
Run.
and it's a grind, bro. So yeah, man. So my last question, because I wanted to have this under 40 minutes, tops, because we're gonna get you in and out.
Sure.
But my last question to you is, what's your message? Or I have two last questions, and it's to the fans. What is your message to Georgia fans for this upcoming season? What should they expect from you, as you are one of those leading guys now?
Hmm.
You have a lot of newcomers like I said, to the program. So you are a leadership role, not only on the court but also in that locker room and also off the
Right.
court. What is your message to the fans that are going to be filling up a segment in a few weeks? What's your message to them? What can they expect from Silas Demary and the Bulldogs?
I would just say right now we working and preparing to put on a show for y'all. We want y'all to come sell out every game because as we see year by year, Coach White he getting better and better. Like you look his first year here, he was 16-16. Last year he was 20-17. So it's like you trying to have that breakthrough year and bring another sport to turn up Athens, man. Because we know football always doing it, but we want to have another sport. You know, we want basketball to be one of those sports where people come to Athens and be like, oh yeah, the football and the basketball team is good. So we're gonna work hard as we can day by day. We're gonna take it day by day. And we want y'all to come when it's time for the game to show up. We want y'all to be there, and we're gonna show out for y'all.
Nah, I ain't even gonna lie. This is not me being a journalist. This is me being like, I really love y'all's game. So, we got to pay for tickets. So if I have to go, I'm going to pay for a ticket. Like, I
Facts.
don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, and plus you go into the, God willing, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know your plans, but if you go to the league, especially if you on the East Coast, and
Mm-hmm.
if God elevates me as a journalist, I hope to be covering you,
Facts.
for sure. But yeah, man. And my last question, and this is kind of like a personal question. What do you want people, when it's all said and done? And I know you're very young, so I don't, not like you're 50 or 60.
Yeah.
But when it's all said and done, what do you want people to say about Silas Demary Jr.? What do you want? What would you have wanted people to have taken away from your life, your career
Mhm.
as a basketball connoisseur, but also as somebody who loves his family, as somebody who loves the community? What do you want to tell people?
From the basketball side, I want people to know that I was a competitor. Always gave it everything you got. Want to be listed as a winner. Now I feel like I've been able to impact winning at the high school level, impact it at the college level, and then God willing, make it to the NBA, impacted on that level too. But a guy that's an everyday guy, he's gonna give you everything, 100% effort. Gonna love his coaches, love his teammates, and just a guy you love to be around. So, and then in the aspect of just being a person, just a guy that loves his community, always willing to involve himself within the community. I want to be able to impact younger kids. Give them the idea of a kid from Raleigh, North Carolina. Oh, if he can do it, I can do it. Give a kid a chance to believe in himself that he can do it. So I want to be able to be somebody that kids can look up to and always know that it's great to be involved in your community. And yeah, that's pretty much it for.
Tight, man. Silas, bro, I appreciate you, man, more than you know, man. I appreciate you for taking time to speak with me. Good luck this season. I'm gonna be there. I got all my friend group, my village, like we all basketball.
Yeah,
We part of the community
yeah,
type
for
deal.
sure.
So we gonna be there, man. We're gonna be supporting you, and your team and Coach White, man, as y'all look to hoist up an SEC championship
Mm-hmm.
this year, brother. So
Sure.
yeah, man. Do you have anything else for me? You good? Is there anything else you want to add? You good?
Good, man. That was a good one, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like from a lot of podcasts I've done, I would say this is probably like one of the best ones I've done so far. Just from like us talking back and forth, like it felt like a smooth conversation. It didn't even feel like we was recording. It felt like we was just outside chopping it up. So like
Yeah.
it's definitely like the way you coming from. I think you probably definitely got a chance to get right with the right people. And obviously, like people like me, I can help you out by like reposting you, getting your name out there. Great guy, yada yada yada. And you go here, so it's like make it to the league. Shoot, I could try to even bring your name up in rooms people might not even talk about. So
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Like I'm trying to. I guess I'm trying to. I know, like you saw my profile, so I'm trying to find my niche, but
yeah,
I
for sure.
really am wanting to interview not only you but also members of your team,
Mm-hmm.
and that could turn into members of the athletic
Yep.
association or different athletics. So I really do appreciate you. The number one goal of this company, of this podcast, is so that people can learn the athlete from the person perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, to me, honestly, I don't really care about the clicks. I'm not in it for all of that, which
Yeah.
is why I asked you those questions before the show started, because I really am in this because I'm passionate about storytelling, about journalism, and about sports. And
Mm-hmm.
knowing myself, and I like to think of myself as a very funny dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know Micah, ask Micah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I
Like,
talked to Micah. Yeah.
yeah, like Micah, that's my dude. Like, we got classes together. Like, we've gone out to eat together and just talk and broke bread, man, and just really relate to him, and while
Mm-hmm.
also relating to you guys.
Yep.
So I don't take this for granted at all. So I really do appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you get going, man. But like I said, I'll have this up within the week. And then you have my Instagram DM or things of that nature. So
Mm-hmm.
if you ever need anything from me, man, I got you. And just let me know. But I'm here to support any way that I can. And all honesty, brother, you got a friend in me for sure.
For sure. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, man. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. All right, guys, that was Silas Demary Jr. and he's the point guard for the UGA men's basketball team. So be on the lookout, man. We're coming. We got things planned. I got things planned that I want to do, people that I want to storytell, to to help share their stories. So I'm in this, man, and this is going to be something special. Like, go time is going to be something special. So to all of you that have tuned in, to all of you that have commented, to all of you that have reposted, to all of you that have shared, whether it's one person that liked, one person that's commented, one person that shared it, I appreciate you all more than you know, and I promise you, you all will receive a return on your investment, because the way that you all keep sharing, the way that you all keep uh, uh, reposting and liking and commenting and giving me positive feedback, even constructive criticism, please keep doing that. I don't take that for granted. Like y'all just saw me with Silas. I don't take this for granted, bro. And I'm not in this for the games. I'm not in this to be famous. I am in this because this is my livelihood. I am in this because this is what God has called me to do. And more specifically, I am in this because this is a direct representation of what my family has instilled upon me, what my father, what my mother, my grandfathers, my grandmothers, my aunts, and my uncles, my mentors, that what they have instilled in me. And I promise you, I'm going to work, excuse my language, mom, I'm going to work my ass off to get to where I want to get to, not for the fame, not for the notoriety, but for you all, because you all are making this possible. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. God bless you guys. Love.